Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Please, what was the cause of the United States Civil War?
Well, don't come with an easy question or anything. I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do. What do you think the cause of the Civil War was?
Welcome back. The Big Bad Podcast. I'm your host. So, presidential candidate Nikki Haley, real name, aka I can't pronounce her name because she's a goddamn immigrant. She's a goddamn Punjab, a goddamn sixth Indian from India. And here was the right question. It was so light that she was caught like a deer in the headlights. What was the civil rights fault? And she fumbled an easy question. Let's get into it. So, people like Nikki Haley fall under the class of brown. Latinos can be brown, Indians can be brown, Pakistanis can be brown, even some North Africans can be considered brown because they're not quite white, they're not quite black, right? The thing is this, when you don't identify as black, that means you want to be white. Nikki Haley wants to be white. Her husband is white. She grew up amongst, first of all, Nikki Haley is from South Carolina. When she was governor, the Confederate flag flew over the state office, under her office. See, the flag didn't offend her because in her mind, she's not black or white. So when she got hit with the question, why was the war fought? It caught her off guard because, for one, she's not an American. She's a first-gen Punjab Indian, just like Kamala Harris, who's a Brahmin, who's like Ramaswamy, who's another Indian. I don't know why so many goddamn Indians running for office in high places. They're not Americans. I don't know what America got going on in India. I know it's not a trade. I know every time I call for my phone service, an Indian pick up, and I don't like that. But I don't know what Indian, but a lot of Indians are fighting for power in America, and that's treason. Shouldn't no immigrant be in the high places in America. They should be high places in India or whatever country they come from, right? So that's about the question. She was stuck. Started saying just generic. It was thought about freedoms and how government is going to be ran. Bitch, what? Whose freedom? And what types of freedoms you talking about? So, see, the rich white fought for different reasons. They didn't even fight. They sent other people to fight for them. The rich Southerners, they barely fought, but they fought for the right to have slaves. The black Americans fought for the right not to be slaves. The poor whites fought for the right to have dominion over slaves and all black people, because even though there's like the lowest and they had nothing to gain from this, they wasn't property owners, they still had dominion over black people. They still could, no matter what, this I ain't black, they still could just, back then you just rape any man, woman, or child that was black and not get charged for it. You could not get charged for doing anything. So you could just get punched when you want something. You could just rape a little kid when you want something. You could do anything to black people. And that's why the poor whites fought for that. Because they had no slaves. A lot of them, they had no property. But they had, at least I'm not black. That's all they had. A lot of the poor whites and the slaves and the free men was coming together. They was together. They had more things in common. It was more poor whites and enslaved blacks and poor blacks together than it was the rich. So they was coming together. That's the Bacon Rebellion. That's what I about before. But white people divide and conquer. They made it so that, okay, we can't have y'all together. So white people, what we do for y'all, the poor whites, we let y'all have dominion over the blacks. We let y'all oversee them. We give y'all jobs of policing these people. And that's where the police department came from, is overseeing black people. To this day, they're still overseeing black people. And freedom to do what? I mean, there's many answers to that question that she could have, navigated around, but she didn't. She could have said it was about the freedoms of the slaves. She could have said it was about uniting America because, America was divided. She could have said it was about the better good of America. She could have said anything to walk around that. But the direct answer is it was about the freedom of black America. It was about the foundation of this country. Us being free was economic. It wasn't a moral ground. We wasn't free because it was the right thing to do. We was free because the South had more financial power than the North did. And the North wanted, a different type of slavery. Instead of being on plantations, they wanted us to have jobs. They wanted us to be in factories. They wanted us to be, textile workers. You know what I'm saying? It's still slavery. Even right now as you work, You gotta go to a plant. Your job is a plantation. Your boss is an overseer, a slave master. When you don't work, you don't. If you do eat without working, you go to jail. What we fail to realize is they didn't free the slaves. It appears they freed the slaves. What they did was they made more slaves. They just didn't call it slavery. Now they call it work. Now, instead of having, because before you can just buy a house and live off your land and pay like 1%, 2% taxes or whatever. Now, everybody has to work and everybody paying like 33% taxes. So, see, it was slavery was transformed into something else. It was a new form of slavery. Now, instead of black people, you have black people at the bottom, but you still have a bunch of white people that's slaves. You still have a lower class white people. You still have white people on welfare. You still have people, it's still tiers. You have immigrant slaves. Everybody's a slave now. And not only that, the fucking world is slaves now. So they went from having just blacks being slaves, now everybody in America are fucking slaves. Everybody depend on the dollar. That was the biggest trick. So it's all the same system. So the thing was, this immigrant said it's about freedoms. The same as Ramaswamy said to Don Lemon, it's about freedoms. It was fought for freedoms. No, it was fought for black American freedom, for our freedom. But it was also people fought for different reasons. The North fought for one reason. You know what I'm saying? The South fought for a different reason. And the black Americans fought for different reasons. And the natives fought for different reasons. There wasn't no Indians here. So she have no ancestors to that war. She's not of this country. See, the black Americans are the only group that could tie directly to the civil rights because we didn't change. We didn't breed with the immigrants who came here from Ellis Island. See, most white people who was here, they all watered down with Ellis Island people, the Irish and Scottish and Jewish and, the Italians. They all got watered down with the 4 million immigrants that came here in the 1900s, the late 1800s. You can't really point. Maybe one of them have an ancestor in an ancestry. I'm saying, but very few people that we consider white today came here after the Civil War was fought. They had no parts of the Civil War. Very few of them can't too many show you a direct line to the Civil War. Like we all could. Like I could show you documentation of my grandmother that like it's all there. We are the direct line of the people from the Civil War. We the only group you can identify as, okay, they're black Americans, they was in the Civil War. You can't look at a group of white people, they was in the Civil War. You know, tell them where the fuck they came from. It might be first generation, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth generation. We are a consistent line from before America was America when it was colonies to now. No other group have that. Even as Indians and Native Americans, you can't identify them. They be like Chino slaves, they be $5 slaves. Ain't no telling them. The real Native Americans was classified as Negro. They look like us. They were slaves with us. They was reclassified as Negro. That means they look like us and they was slaves with us, and that means they bred with us. That means our lineage is Native Americans too. So she has no investment. This the caveat of that though. She's brown. She grew up in the South. White girls terrorized. Like she was born right after Jim Crow, 72. Jim Crow ended like 68. She was born right on the cusp of Jim Crow, around them little Karen cubs, little blonde hair, blue eye, little girls was savages back then. Called all types of N-word. That's when it's calling you N-words to your face. But right now they hide it. Back then in the 70s and the 60s, they call that shit to your face and dare you to do something about it. White woman here in Connecticut. If you grew up in a white neighborhood and you anything besides white, you get into business. You're getting ostracized. You're getting picked on. You're getting bullied. You're getting called all types of racial slurs. She went through that. And I'm sure she's Indian. She's bleached her skin because her parents are darker. She's a boom job. She's a sink, whatever that is. S-I-K-H. She's one of those. It's kind of like a farmer class. And, Ramaswamy can't stand it because he's from a Brahmin class. He despises, look down on her. That's why he be on her ass like crazy. You ever see them go back and forth? He be on her ass. He can't stand her personally. He despises her. She's a low shelf. She's the N-word of her country. And he's the white supremacist of his country. Even though Ramaswamy is darker than her, he still has a higher caste system because India has a caste system, and they bring the same caste system and the same type of racism to America, and they fucking still express and manifest that shit to us. They don't say nothing. They act like it's nothing. It's always in the back of their mind because racism don't just die. It don't just go away. It dormant, but the thoughts is already there. He's conditioned to think that he's better, that he's a Brahmin, he's top class, and she knows it. That's why she don't never say nothing when he talks on her, because she know her place. If there was in India, she can't say nothing to him. That's why he be going so hard on her.
I want to go back, though, to Nikki Haley's comment from earlier that she is somehow not responding to the will of these donors. Nikki, you were bankrupt when you left the UN. After you left the UN, you became a military contractor. You actually started joining service on the board of Boeing, whose back you scratched for a very long time, and then gave foreign multinational speeches like Hillary Clinton is. And now you're a multimillionaire. That math does not add up. It adds up to the fact that you are corrupt.
So they don't get along. My thing is, nobody likes the Indian candidate. They're not likable. Vivian's not likable. Kamala Harris is not likable. And this bitch is not likable. They're not likable. Because for one, they're not of a country. They're not black. They're not white. So what they do is, so if you're not black, you're not white. What you are, you're in the middle. And usually when you're in the middle, you side with white supremacy. The people who oppress you, the people who dilapidated your country, the reason why you here is because, America's somewhere with their hands in your government pocket in your own land. So she's here, got a white husband, light skin, lost her whole accent. She even evangelized her name. Her name was some long ass Haley, Kamala, Obama, Osama, Ramada, goddamn Kuna Matata, Kumar, Alibaba, Ramada, Dalai Lama, Amadullah, Kualamala, Haley. You know what I'm saying? It was Muhammad. It was some long ass shit. Haley. But she had to evangelize it, make it more sound like white. So, Haley sounds white. Nikki sounds like, it could be anything American, but Haley sounds white because she's married to a white dude. So she's trying to, she caters to the right wing. This is the thing. The right wing only likes you when you saying their talking points. Like Candace Owen. Nobody likes Candace Owen. But long as she's saying blacks ain't shit, long as she's saying lift yourself by the bootstraps, long as she's saying there is no racist, long as she's saying we all equals, long as she's saying everybody could earn their way in America, and America is equal, and it's the land of the best country in the world, all that delusionary shit, she's fine. But the minute she says some real shit, she's done. Candace Owens is done. You can't go against the grain. You got freedom of speech. The thing is, and she don't believe she's black. And she's not black, but she damn sure ain't white. See, I think the Indians think they Aryans. They think the real Caucasus, the Caucasus Mountains, so they have that thing in common. Their skin is so dark. They're darker than the black Americans, a lot of them from the South. The thing is, the Brit colonized, India, raping them, doing what they doing as colonizers, raping them, exploiting them, taking their resources, taking their women. So she's light skinned, so I'm sure she has British blood. So she identifies as white, which is understandable because everybody would be on the winning side. The thing is, you're not American, and we will never accept you as an American. You are an Indian, and don't nobody want an Indian ever running America. Nobody black want that, nobody white wants that. And my whole thing is, out of the three candidates, DeSantis, Ramaswamy, and Vivek, none of these are Americans. DeSantis is not American. He's the damn Italian. We gonna have Italian running America? We gonna have Italian win, and they had a mob rule over the fucking nation. Then the mob is in his pocket in Florida. This soft ass dickhead, the mob is in his pocket in Florida. The mob love Florida. The mob goes there to retire. You think they ain't in his pocket? You think if the only Italian get some position and the mobs don't get their part? The mob ain't dead. Respect to the mob too. That's when we have a new flood of Italians coming in. If one of the boom jobs or one of the Brahmins rule, we have more Indians coming here. Indians already fucking here taking all the tech jobs. They're already here fucking up towns. All sides, a bunch of them. Funky as a motherfucker. It's a funky group of people. Why do foreigners smell so bad? Like, the Africans, they smell. Caribbeans, they smell. But these Indians, these Afghanians, even Europeans, but these Indians, it's like a biohazard. These motherfuckers should burn your nostrils. Should have burned the hairs in your nostrils. You have an infestation of Indians. And how the fuck these motherfuckers get a monopoly on a motel game? They own every motel in town. Every motel you go to is an Indian at the front desk. That's some American government. The government had to give them that because there's no way they came from the bootstraps. You mean to tell me they come from a third world people shit, and it's a million people that's homeless in the streets living in goddamn cardboard huts, and they got whole shanty towns. You mean it's no way to get money out there. They come here and they own motels. The government gave them motels. These are some smelly people. but they're here. And I can tell a Pakistani from an Iranian, and it's all the same. My whole thing is we get one of them in office, it's going to be of the floodgates going to come in legally. We already got Mexicans and South Americans coming in through the border. She ain't going to make it no better because she's an immigrant. Immigrants have no loyalty to their own country, and they have no loyalty to this country. Don't vote for no immigrant. She has no ties to Civil War, therefore she's not an American. She has no investment in it because it don't concern her. She came here in the 1950s and 60s. Her parents came in the 1960s, 70s. I'm saying after we fought to get her here. See, let's be clear too. All these Indian immigrants benefited from Black Americans. They all benefited from affirmative action, which they took from a Black American. They benefited from the Immigration Act of, what's that, 1968 that we fought for. The 14th Amendment that made them citizens. That's Black Americans we fought for. And everything in the civil rights. The reason they could run, the reason they could vote, that's all because of Black Americans. They didn't earn that on their own. So everything they got is they owe to us because we fought for it, but we get shitted on. HBCUs in which, took away from Black Americans, especially Haley. Haley's father couldn't get a job until he went to an HBCU. Haley's mom couldn't get business selling dresses unless she sold to Black people. But yet she don't do nothing for Black people, turning Black on Black people. See, it's a Stockholm syndrome. All these people are traitors. If you leave your own country, turn your back on your own country and raise a new flag, you are a traitor. You're not American. You are Indian. Like a Chinese man, no matter how many you're a Chinese man. You're from China. You can't raise our flag. You're not of this history and this lineage. That's why she couldn't tell you nothing about the Civil War. See, she don't want to mention slavery. You know why? Because you mention slavery, you have to mention the injustice. If you mention the injustice, you have to admit that you must restore these people. And to restore these people, you must admit that we need reparations. You must admit that you stole land from us that we bought. You must admit that you robbed us from the Negro Bank that was billions. You must admit that the America still owes their promises 40 acres. That's why it's like, oh shit, it's a rabbit hole. She didn't want to go there. I know the bitch was thinking, oh shit, she's not American. Don't concern her. Her thing is now kissing Caucasian butt cheeks. She's here to kiss Caucasian butt cheeks for a position of power to bring more of her people in from India, like Kamala Harris. And we ain't having that. Most Blacks don't even vote Republican anyway. I think now it's changing. Like right now, it's going to be a big change. But this might not even affect her because, the right likes her. I don't think the right, I don't think the far right wants an Indian in position. Maybe, the middle right, but the far right, the Proud Boys, KKK, Nazis, all them white supremacist terrorist groups, you think they want an Indian in position and a female at that? I doubt it. She don't got a chance. She don't got a shot. They're all proxies for Trump. I don't know why we even act like we got nominees. Trump won it already. It's to the fact that we know he won it. He don't even argue with these bozos. He don't even go on. You know how they got debates? He don't debate with them or nothing. So they can fight in hella cases and he already won. It's so bad that even like Colorado try to ban Trump ballots. You can't ban Trump, nigga. You can't stop the Trump. Trump is happening. Trump is fucking happening. You know what? We all on board with it. Because, nigga, Democrats is dead. Democrats is dead. And I might even vote because I don't care about either one because ain't no one give reparations. We don't give a fuck about them. But the thing is, Haley's a coon bad wench. Nikki Haley is a coon bad wench. Now, what defines a coon bad wench? A bad wench is a person of color or a Black American or African who sleeps with a European, a white person, especially a white American. Just like Kamala Harris or a white Brit. That makes you a bad wench because you sleep with the ops. Just like Kamala Harris. Britain and America had a whole fist inside India's pockets. Even our business corporations going on right now because we got businesses with them. We oppress them. We benefit from them. We as Americans, not like me. I'm not part of the white supremacy that dudes are colonizing. When I say we, I just mean American. So I gotta say we, but I mean the white supremacists of America, colonize and fuck up their countries and all that. I'm not part of the we, but I'm American, so I say we. She's a Stockholm syndrome. She identifies with her oppressor and she married one, therefore making her a bad wench. Just like Kamala Harris. She grew up her whole life being called all types of saying N-words, just like Kamala Harris. I can imagine N-words. You think she wasn't called N-words around them blonde hair, blue-eyed little white girls? Little kids are the worst. And she didn't grow up around us, but yet and still, she still caters to these people. It's all business. And she's a sellout, just like Kamala Harris. She's a sellout, and Ramaswamy identified that, but he be on her ass.
You have a corruption problem, and I think that that's what people need to know. Nikki is corrupt. This is a woman who will send your kids to die so she can buy a bigger house. This is the problem. Using identity politics more effectively than Kamala Harris is a form of intellectual fraud.
Haley, would you like to respond?
No.
For the most part. But yeah, man, I just want to say that. That's my little take on that, man. It's been a podcast. We ain't voting for no Indians. That's it. We ain't voting for no Indians, man. Ever. America would never vote, have a Indian president. Never. You gotta get a black president first, not Obama. That's like a real black American. Then you gotta get a Puerto Rican. Then you probably gotta get like a Mexican. Then you gotta get another black American, a mulatto. Then you probably gotta get maybe a gay. Then you gotta get an Italian. Then you know what I'm saying, and then maybe we have an Indian. But until then, we Indians like 1% of America. Who interests do they hold? Who they identify with? This one to be puppets. It's gonna be an obvious puppet. At least if you let's say you're Puerto Rican, you got identify with Puerto Ricans and Latinos. It's like 40% of Americans like Latino, some shit like that. If you black, we got like 40 million black people in America. Ain't that many fucking boom jobs in America? Who get the fuck out of here, bitch? Go to your own country and be a president. That's a Big Bad Podcast.